This segment sponsored by Paul Davis. When disaster strikes and you need a cleanup, you can call Paul Davis, your local property restoration experts. And joining me today to share more about their services and preventative maintenance is Adam Myers, their restoration project manager. Hello.
How are we doing
Welcome.
today? Yes, thank you.
Yes, good to see you. Okay, so I know that you all are like the save the day folks, right?
Of course, yes, we try to be anytime we can.
Right, and I always find it fascinating when I learn about your company, because I think that when you think about a disaster, you don't naturally think about, well, who can you call to help clean it up? And this includes commercial and residential, right?
Absolutely.
So let's dive into just an overview of Paul Davis in case someone isn't familiar.
Sure. We always come up with an issue at our home and we go who, where, and what. You know, our agent is a good form to reach out to and say, hey, who helps, or Google a lot of times. But of course, hopefully here I can describe some of that. You know, if you have a water heater that blew up on you over the weekend, or hey, we had a big storm, and hey, I've got water in my carpet, I don't know what's going on. We try to be that company to assist, advise, and then lead into any repair work, any mitigation as we call, or cleanup work that may be needed at your property.
Right, yes. And so how do you work in conjunction with the insurance? Because I think that's what sometimes the first thought would be, is like, well, do I call my insurance first or do I call you all first? Because let's be clear, when a disaster happens, you need something quick.
Yes, you do. It is. The quicker you can make a phone call, the quicker you can get in touch with us. We do all the documentation. We estimate in the same, like what we call software that the insurance companies do, but we are your contractor. So we do all the photos and all the paperwork and things that are needed, that then once you do get in contact with your insurance company, we can submit all that for you. We may not have all the answers, and we might tell you, hey, talk to your agent. Or when you get in contact with an adjuster, then they will answer those questions. We can tell you the typical scenarios, but yes, immediacy is really what you're needing, right. Especially when it's a Saturday night at 2 a.m. or something, you know, that you don't know who to call. We do always say, of course, call us first. We will start that mitigation process. And that's a term that insurance companies really always come back to. Hey, mitigate from further damages. And that's what we're there to help you with in that time of need. So give us a call and we'll tell you, hey, this is a situation that's really covered by insurance, or hey, this is probably not covered by insurance. Let us come in and mitigate as much as we can, and then we'll give you options. Let's give you an estimate. And then you can say, hey, I can't afford that, or I want to go a different way. We'll help and partner with you in all those situations.
Yeah, okay, that's good, because I'm pretty sure that, like you said, the mitigation with the insurance, they want to have to cover less damages. And if you let some of these disasters continue, especially if it's like a busted water pipe or, like you said, a water heater, then that's going to continuously damage your property. So you're saying call immediately, have y'all stop the issue, and then you also do other things, providing documentation that could support the insurance claim.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, that totally makes sense. Okay, so in the event, so that's what happens when a disaster happens. So now let's talk about how we can possibly stop a disaster from happening.
Absolutely.
So what would you say is just the first step when it comes to mitigating or preventing water loss at your home?
Well, there's two parts. I always kind of say you close up in the fall, but you open up in the spring. So we're, of course, in that springtime. I'll start from the outside in. Right now, we've had some heavy rains already this year. You know, in the fall, we say clean our gutters. Even in the spring, whatever's gotten in there, gutters your first line of defense to your home. And then where that water is going. Sometimes we have perimeter tiles around our home, and that helps vacate the water from our homes. But there can sometimes be landscaping buildup. You're supposed to have 4 to 6 inches from the bottom of, like, whether you have brick and stone or whatever your facade is around your house. But over the years, we can get buildup of landscaping, shrubbery, things of that nature. And when that builds up and we have our terrible storms that we've had recently, then that water can get into the home. And we don't want that. So you can work with your landscaper, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you want that water to get away from your home as quickly as possible. But then when we move onto the inside, we have an appliance, of course, we have that water heater. We want that hot water, at night or whenever when we turn it on, but we don't open a closet and we don't take a look at it. So water heater is a big one. You just put your eyes on different things in the home. Sometimes we don't even open the cupboard doors to our kitchen. So putting eyes on things and seeing, it's like, oh, if that's wet, we might have a problem. It's not going to go away. It's not magic. It's, hey, call somebody. I always say it's easier to plan than it is to be on an emergency. So you can plan and get quotes if, hey, I think this is a problem. Let's get a quote on a water heater. The other one is sump pumps. Sump pumps are a big thing that we see definitely this time of year, especially with a lot of water. They become inundated. They're working extra hard trying to get the water out.
What are sump pumps?
Yeah, so we have a lot of times in our territory, some people have moved from different parts of the country, and that's a great question because they don't know. They're like, hey, I've been in Florida or in Michigan, we don't have these things.
Yeah.
But it's a below grade type of a device that removes water from a lot of times our basements, because we have a lot of basements in this area. And you can even on a slab sometimes have a sump pump, and you may not know. It might just have a black plastic lid over it and go, what is this? But you'll see a lot of times PVC pipe, and sometimes people have backup batteries, and they're good to check out. And really the biggest thing is if you don't know, feel free to reach out to us and we'll come out and advise you. And it's always an opportunity for us to provide a quote. It's business. So we can come out and say, hey, this is what I'd advise, get with so-and-so if it's not something that we can handle, or give you opportunities. Because sump pumps are really, we have a lot of times sump pump coverage, and get with your agent, your local insurance agent, and make sure that you have the proper coverages for contents and sump pump coverage, because that's a whole separate thing. And sometimes mostly what we see with folks is that they don't have enough coverage when they do go out. And so you have a deductible. One of my biggest advices is if you don't know the last time it's been replaced, it's much cheaper to replace a sump pump than it is to pay your deductible and all the damage that goes along with it. And especially if you don't remember, a lot of times 10 years is a good life on some of these appliances. And some people, oh, they've lasted for 30. If they've been in that long, there's a possibility of failure. And with failure, then you get those kind of disasters. So that's where I just always say err on the side of caution. If you don't know, reach out to a plumber, reach out to us. We'll advise you, walk you through those steps. And that's where I say you can plan and look at, okay, this may be something I didn't want to spend right now on my budget, but it's better to take care of it before it becomes an issue and ruins, family keepsakes or things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think about the same thing that applies on the medical side of things, where prevention is better than a cure. And so we have to be preventative. And like you said, just have your eyes open and take a look as you examine your home. Okay, well, thank you so much, Adam, for chatting with me and providing that great advice today.
Yes, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Paul Davis, we'll have their website listed below. This definitely sounds like a company that you want to go ahead and save in your phone, because you never know when an emergency may happen and you need to give them a call. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Paul Davis.